Hello, Internet, and welcome to this very special Parents' Basement Quarantine edition of Ask Hua Li, your place for baseless advice from me, an overly confident entertainer whose live career suddenly no longer exists. As always, don't forget to submit your questions to bit.ly/askhwali. Don't forget that this is a two-way exchange, so if you are not out there actively messing up your life, I will have no advice to hand out. Our question this time around comes from Staying Inside, and they write, Hi Hua Li, I am going through a pretty rough breakup during quarantine, and I was wondering if you have any tips on how to mend a broken heart. Sincerely, Staying Inside. While Staying Inside, I'm glad you asked me this question. I'm guessing that you've probably heard my relatively unknown album Dynasty, and you got the sense that I probably have a lot of experience with heartbreak. And you're right, I famously broke up with my second fiancé this summer. So let me tell you, I know how to get myself through a breakup. One of the resources that I found most helpful this past summer was a book called The Grief Recovery Handbook by John W. Smith and Robert Friedman. Now, I know it sounds a little dramatic to delve into grief when you're dealing with a breakup, but the thing is that grief is not just about death and dying. It's about loss in general. So when we're closing an important personal chapter, sometimes it's helpful to have a framework to help us navigate how we're feeling. I think the Grief Recovery Handbook can be helpful for any kind of loss, be it death, heartbreak, the loss of a job, sudden change in circumstances, global pandemic, whatever. Working through the handbook this summer really helped me celebrate the best parts of my relationship with my ex. It helped me accept and reconcile the bad parts, and it allowed me to let go of the unresolved issues that we still shared together. It also helped me take my time through my healing, acknowledge it as a process, and gave me a really interesting kind of roadmap to help understand the way that I was reacting. I know that it's available if you're a Montrealer from the Bibliothèque Nationale in their digital archive, so you can get that for free online. Now, on the topic of COVID-19 and this quarantine that we're all collectively going through right now, I know that this is a particularly lonely time for most people. As an avid avoider of vulnerability, affection, and heteronormativity, even I wish that I had a lover to come home to every day, because I'm so starved for physical touch. That being said, I imagine that going through a breakup at this time would be particularly difficult. You're already adjusting to the loss of a presence in your life. Now you're doing it in this time where everyone has cabin fever. So I think it's important for you staying inside to validate for yourself from time to time the reasons why this breakup happened. Breakups are always painful, but they often occur because of unresolvable rifts that are taking place between two people. Rather than indulge in the sadness and the despair of a heartbreak, I encourage you to find empowerment in discovering the reasons why it might be better for you to take this time for yourself. Solitude can be really scary. For a public figure like me, I get absolutely no validation when I'm by myself. But the flip side of solitude is that it gives us a lot of time to reflect on just how we're feeling, identify our reactions, think about the things that are motivating our behavior, and really think about what makes this time we spend with ourselves so special. Something else to keep in mind while you're quarantining and going through this heartbreak is that loneliness often tricks the mind into feeling like we can't reach out to anybody. Once we're in a state of loneliness, we often end up in a negative thought pattern, thinking, if only someone would reach out to me, I would feel so much better. I'm just so alone in the world. No one cares about me. I'm worthless. My ex really ought to take me back. Don't allow yourself to go into that spiral. Empower yourself to reach out to the people that you know will support you through this time. I think it can feel really discouraging when you're already in a lonely place to have to reach out to people, but if you press yourself to say what's up to the people who are most there for you, you'll be pleasantly surprised by how strong your community is. Don't be afraid to reach out to people around you. And don't forget that everybody is going through a crazy time right now. So if they're not actively reaching out to you, it doesn't mean that you're not on their mind. I also encourage you to indulge in your own routines and rituals in this time. Create a beautiful space of stasis for yourself and do the things that make you feel happiest. And don't be ashamed to give yourself the love and affection that you so miss right now. Find joy and comfort in the idea that most people around you also are experiencing a sense of longing. And use this time to discover new ways of sharing love that don't necessarily have to be tied to a romantic interest. While staying inside, I hope that this is helpful, and I wish you the best of luck with your recovery from your heartbreak. That brings us to the end of this installment of Ask Hua Li, but that doesn't mean that there isn't more to come, so please don't forget to submit your questions to bit.ly/askhhuali. That's bit.ly/askhhuali.